Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Boomy Reactions. I am Boomy, and today I'm going to be reacting to something a little bit different. It's not music today. So I'm going to be reacting to a video that is from a collection of YouTube videos from YouTubers the A&S Way. And they have like a mini collection of videos of their journey from moving from the UK and moving to America. And their series is based around the differences between the UK and the USA, which is quite exciting. I'm sure there's many differences, some comical, maybe some not too comical. So yeah, I suppose our idea of houses in America are probably, we have those ideas probably from watching American sitcoms and American TV, which I don't know about anyone else, but I grew up watching everything America on TV, Nickelodeon and Disney Channel and all the such. So the idea that we have of American homes is that you're live in quite big houses. If you think Home Alone, think Home Alone. So the houses that are all the way down that street, that was my impression of the houses that Americans live in. I don't know how wrong I am. But yeah, so our idea of USA homes are big houses with big gardens and a lot of land attached, maybe. Big open plan, country looking kitchens. Maybe you've got a home cinema in your living room. Why not? Maybe you've got a huge outdoor barbecue area for all of the barbecues that you're like having. It's obviously a stereotype, but I don't know how wrong that stereotype actually is. Big bedrooms as well, like big bedrooms, walk-in wardrobes, ensuite bathrooms. This is obviously a stereotype, but yeah. So a house like that over here would be just considered nothing short of a mansion, to be honest. uh, yeah. So let's give this a watch. This is going to be interesting.
Hi, welcome back to the A&S Way, and in today's video we are going to be talking about 10 things that are different about UK homes versus American homes, especially as we've been living here for about 2 years now.
Stay tuned until the end because we've got some questions what you think about American versus UK.
One thing I will say straight away is the row of British houses, the terrace houses that they were using in the video there, I, we don't all live in multicolored houses. I associate houses of that color more with the Welsh seaside. Have you ever noticed the houses tend to get a little bit more colourful and there's a lot more cobble walls as you get towards the beach in Wales? Yeah, that's how you know the beach. But I would say I don't think that's that standard of British homes. A lot of terrace houses maybe, and semi-detached houses definitely. Yeah. The image they have of the American house as well is humongous. Is that standard American home over there? Carry on.
UK homes. Please do subscribe if you enjoy this video. Number one, the most obvious one, it's size or lack thereof. Most UK homes are absolutely tiny. We mentioned this in a couple of other videos and they're smaller than I had anticipated.
Just catching that that information there. So where are we? Where are we? We are third down. So our houses on average are a 818 square foot. compared to the United States of 2,164. That's crazy. So your houses, like on average, are nearly 3 times the size of ours. What? So is that just the home, or is that all the land associated with the property? Mm, mm. Oh, that's quite shocking, isn't it? Although it's not too shocking because we're such a significantly smaller country. So you'd imagine, wouldn't you, that land is more valuable only for the sake that there's less of it. So there's more competition for land. So maybe there's not so much competition over in the USA because it's so vast, it's so big. Maybe.
Tiny. We mentioned this in a couple of other videos, and they're smaller than I had anticipated.
In America, by comparison, when we got here, we were finding homes were well in excess of 2,000 square feet. I would say more typically around 3,000. And initially we thought that's way too large for us. But what we have found is it's allowed for more rooms, more functionality in your house overall, and space to do things that you want rather than struggling to cram your clothes.
Was that a laundry room? Was that a massive room dedicated for washing up, like washing machine, tumble dryer? I want a room like that. I could do with a room like that. I'd just put the cats in there. They'd be comfy because it's all warm. Wow. Okay, I understand what she's saying though. So obviously that's a massive bonus. So you can utilize all of that land, and you've got so much space. You can have rooms allocated for very specific tasks, like a utility room or a laundry room or a playroom, with things like that. That's crazy. And then we have, by comparison, I'm assuming this is a British man, isn't it? Look at his teeny tiny wardrobe. It's pretty accurate, actually.
Storage things, you can actually live in your home and do things. That leads to number 2, and that is the functionality of US homes. And I'm talking walk-in closets and pantries and dedicated.
I want to see this. I love a good floor map. Let's see this. Right. Oh my gosh. Right. Okay. This is a bungalow, right? Porch, powder, like a powder room, WC, toilet. Opposite from another bathroom. Well, why would you need a toilet that's literally just over the way from the main bathroom? It's just too many toilets. Cleaning two's enough. Okay, yeah. Bay storage. What's that? What is a portico? I think I just made myself sound like really ignorant here. What's a portico? A loggia? What is that? The great room? What's a great room? Right, over here we have like your basic floor map goes doorway. Sometimes there might be a porch, I guess. Go in, you've got your hall, and then you've got your staircase, normally immediately to the right or left. And then you go through there and you've got living room. And normally if you go straight on, it's kitchen or kitchen dining room. Or maybe you might have a living room, dining room. Sometimes there's a conservatory on the back. I know that's a bungalow, but that's crazy. Are there any more rooms there? A primary suite, a primary bath, and a walk-in closet. Oh, like primary suite, is that like master bedroom? Okay, so you've got walk-in closet. Oh, that's kind of cool. And then your ensuite bathroom. This house has like, am I counting this right? There is 1, 2, 3, 4 toilets. Okay, 4 toilets. Again, it's a bungalow as well, I suppose. Look at that massive open kitchen diner. That's nice. You can tell it's not actually been that long since I bought a house. I'm still into this. I still love looking at houses.
Laundry rooms. In the UK, they would not come in a typical home. As we said in the first point, UK homes are tiny.
Maybe a lean-to.
So they don't really have the space to have those types of rooms. But here in
That image of the log cabin. We don't live in a log cabin. I know they're tiny, but they're not that tiny.
the US, they do. And it's something that I absolutely love here.
Number 3 on the list, the kitchen. Now, the kitchens in the UK are either non-existent little rooms somewhere in the house, either at the front or the back, that are separate from every other room. In the US, however, it's kind of a central location for gathering, dining rooms around it, the living area, so that you cook and entertain
I would love that.
time. This is something that we had to get used to,
I'm
because having a kitchen in your living room is
that.
a little bit weird for English people, I would say.
Although newer build homes are starting to have this more open plan style living, but definitely when we were growing up, the kitchen was a separate area.
One of the magical things we do have here in the US is the garbage disposal. I throw everything in there, all of the food scraps, turn it on, run the water, and it's gone.
And it's brilliant when you live somewhere like Vegas that gets super hot in the summer, or for most of the year it's super hot, and you can just get rid of the food rather than have it in the trash can outside.
Okay, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, that must be pretty handy. You know, leftovers on a plate, just throw them down there. Gonna rinse the plate anyway, get down there. That must get super smelly. So where does it go? Like, we have a sink in our kitchens, obviously, and just wastewater goes down into the drains. But where does your garbage disposal go? Is that a really stupid question? Is it obvious? Is it like, well, it goes in the bin? I don't know how I feel about that. Is it wasteful? Obviously, recycling is something that we're very actively encouraged to do in the UK. What would happen with all of your food waste? Maybe it goes into a composter. Maybe actually that's a really clever idea. Yeah, I remember seeing these in like American sitcoms, and as a young child, never really knowing why people were throwing things in the sink. Because if you did the same thing at home, you're going to get quite a volatile reaction from your dad. Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Hot, and you can just get rid of the food rather than have it in the trash can outside.
Yeah, I get that.
There you go.
I'm adjusting my language.
Like an
That
American.
smell outside.
The other thing that Selena really misses is something from the UK, which is a drainage area that's built into the sink platform, sink basin, right next to the sink. So when you wash up, you put it over there and it drains off and it runs into the sink, so the water comes off. I don't miss it that much because I'm a dishwasher person. And we have these little drying mats and I find them perfectly fine, but you do mention all the time the drainage.
It has that in the UK homes, and if we've got some shots, we'll share that here.
And the final thing, which we mentioned a couple of times.
Just before he mentions the final thing, I've never thought about appreciating that little drying rack section that's always next to the sink. But yeah, so what happens with like your water bottles when you rinse them out? Like, where do you put them? They're just gonna get water rings everywhere. Okay. I don't know why I found that weirder than any of the other things.
But I think it's really important. Pantries I
Pantry.
don't think I've ever seen a pantry in the UK, personally. Here in the US,
I've got
every
a
home that we
pantry.
looked at has a separate pantry or a huge area that acts as a pantry. And we get to store our huge 25 kilo Costco bags of rice and cereal in there.
The other thing that you might find, especially for our US viewers, is that in the UK, our washing machine is typically in the kitchen. Now, when I think about that
Seems ridiculous.
Yeah, it sounds really strange. Can you imagine you'll be cooking, or perhaps you're having dinner in the kitchen, you've got friends around, and then your washing machine is going off. Yeah. So a very weird thing about the UK kitchen.
I mean, I don't think that's weird, is it? You know, while you're making dinner, you got to wash on the go, and at the same time, you can just lean over and clean the dishes. It's all compact. There's benefits to that. Yeah, that's very normal. That is very, very normal to have a washing machine in your kitchen. I mean, British people are probably saying, well, where else would it go? That is what I'm thinking. Well, where else would it go? In your fancy laundry rooms. That's where they are. Yeah. So what they were saying that it's normal in America to have pantries. I would like a pantry. I've got a lot of cooking stuff. Like, I would really like a pantry. So why they keep it cooler in the pantry is, yeah. Well, I feel like I'm asking these questions and they're very daft.
Number 4 is bathrooms, or bathrooms, as they said in the US. They
I say
pronounce their
bathroom.
two H's. So many bathrooms. We have 3.5
I say bathroom.
in here, and I think in the last
I say bathroom. I say bathroom because I am, well, where I am, we're technically a northerner, even though I'm pretty sure northerners refer to us as either Midlanders or southerners. But we still say bath. We're not a bath area. Although I suppose half of the UK say bath.
place that we stayed was 3.5. All of the homes that we looked at had between 3 and 5 bathrooms. They are obsessed. In the UK, you'll be lucky to have one main bathroom and maybe, depending on when your home was built, an ensuite, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Certainly when we were growing up, that just wasn't the norm in houses, but
yeah, I'd say like the norm in houses these days, or what's more appealing to house buyers, is you have your master bathroom upstairs generally that everyone uses, and then you normally have like a little closet toilet like under the stairs. That's what we have. Definitely handier to have 2 bathrooms, but 5. Come on, guys, what do you need 5 toilets for? You have to clean 5 toilets. Nobody wants to clean that many. Ugh.
since the 2000s, they started building the new homes started having an ensuite. But even then, the ensuite bathroom was tiny and
Comically small.
comically small, where 2 of you cannot be in there at the same time. There would be one sink. And that's another main difference. Here in the US, their ensuites really do cater for 2 people. They have double sinks, and that would really be a luxury in a UK home. Actually, when I went to one of my colleagues' homes, her shower was so large, it was larger than one of my friend's bedroom. The shower space. That's how big it is here.
Well, what do you get up to in the shower that you need that much space for? I immediately regret asking that as soon as those words escaped my mouth. You don't need a shower that can fit that many people in. That's weird. Yes, I quite often used to see bathrooms in films and TV shows where the couple of the house, the mother and the father, or the young couple, would be brushing their teeth together in 2 separate sinks, but looking in the same big mirror. And that's an actual thing. Oh, yeah, our houses are tiny.
I don't know if this is the same across the US, but one of the biggest things I found strange with the bathrooms here, especially the ensuite, was that they don't typically have a door. And that for me is very different from the UK. UK, you will always have a door to your ensuite or your bathroom.
Yeah.
At number 5, parking.
Yeah, I'm going to interject there. why do we have a door to our ensuite bathrooms? I think it's quite obvious. Well, what happens when our stanky ass partner goes to the toilet and like in the middle of the night, or no, I don't like that. No, thank you. No, I'll keep my door. I'll keep my door. Parking.
And this may surprise our American viewers, but in the UK, parking can be a real issue. And it's something that we suffered with when we were looking at new build homes, in particular, where they wouldn't have a driveway. So you would be assigned a parking spot, maybe one or two, depending on the size of the home. But that,
I think that's more city life. So depending on where you do look at buying, I'd say when there is more land attached to the property that you're looking at, there is more space for parking. However, I don't live in a city, so I imagine the parking is an absolute nightmare. It's a nightmare whenever you go into a city, isn't it? But yeah, allocated parking spaces, ideally in front of the property. But where you tend to go outside of cities where there is more space, you do tend to see more properties that have driveways. But for the properties that were built many years ago, these driveways, like ours, is quite narrow. So most cars these days can't fit down them anyway. So we have a garage at the bottom of our driveway, which there is no chance in hell that our car can actually reach. So it just makes it a bit useless, really.
assigned a parking spot, maybe one or two, depending on the size of the home. But that was really something that you had to consider when buying a new build, is whether you're even going to have a space to park your car.
Before moving out here, we bought a 3-bedroom family apartment, and you have one allocated space, and that was it. There was no option to buy another one. And this isn't just places that are dense cities. We lived out, much further out from the city.
Actually, it's not okay if your kids are young, because between the pair of you, most people need 2 cars, 1 car each to function, because you've got work. And even if you don't both work, you've got to get the kids around, you've got to take them to school, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, that's messy. It is.
Of London. So it's quite an odd way to live in the UK. America, by comparison, has excessive space. Especially here in Vegas, you have ample room to park your many cars, trucks, boats, jet skis, motorbikes, RVs. And number 6 is garages. In the UK, it's kind of a mixed bag. Older homes tended to have garages in which you cannot park modern cars because they were built for things like minis, metros, which most cars are too big now, so you can't actually get in and open the doors. So you could buy an older home, have a garage, you can't park your car, so they tend to be used as storage. Newer build homes, depending on where you are, as we mentioned, will either have no spaces and no garage, or we did buy a home in 2015 which did come with a garage that was big enough for a car and 2 tandem parking spaces.
Which is quite rare.
It's very rare, especially.
Yeah, that is kind of rare, but I think if you're buying like detached properties, it's probably more of a common feature. Yeah, like I said, we can't use our garage for that. Our garage is basically a shed. It's a glorified shed where all of the crap from last year that you didn't want to take to the tip, it just gets thrown in there. Or, you know, because the attic is too full, shove it in the garage. And then you've got to clean it out once a year, which is another mammoth task that no one likes doing, but you've kind of inflicted it on yourself. So, Britain life.
Especially the closer you get to London. America, on the other hand, it's integral to their home design. They generally will have a double garage that fits within the home footprint. So instead of it being external to the house, it'll be built into the home. And they can genuinely be bigger than a UK apartment. I think this is a small one, it's about 400 square foot. Some of the ones that we looked at were maybe 500 to 600 square foot, which I'll throw something up on the screen. A UK apartment can be 600 square foot.
at number 7, we have getting your mail. And this is something that I definitely miss about the UK. In
What's
the UK,
different?
we have mail that just comes through the door. It's wonderful. You do not have to go anywhere. You hear when the postman arrives, you get your letters. Here, we have to trek about a block to go and get our mail. And it's a discussion every day. Oh, yeah, have you been to check the letterbox yet? In the UK, it's so much easier. And that's
Why?
something I definitely miss. And I don't know if that's everywhere in the US, but certainly here in Nevada, that's how you get your mail.
Number
Before he says number 8, that's weird, right? That's weird. Like, do you have to go to the post office like every day? Post office, letterbox, whatever it is that you collect your mail from, American watchers. Or didn't you? No, I've seen the letterboxes outside some people's property, so I don't know if that's a universal thing in America, or is that a service that you pay for? Um, yeah, we've seen it in enough. I'm trying to think, what's that? What's the film? Is it The Butterfly Effect, where they put the fireworks in the letter box? Because I was always under the impression that you guys, you have your letterbox. We might have, a little letterbox that's built into the door. I don't personally, because I have a dog that would eat them. But yeah, you guys, you have your little letterboxes on the front of your lawns, don't you? Don't you? Okay. Maybe it is just like a kind of state by state thing, or maybe there's some difference to it, but yeah.
8, temperature control, and specifically temperature control rather than heating, because in the US, at least in the parts that we would choose to live, nearly every home has air conditioning. Now, to a UK person, that generally means cooling the home. The way it works here in the US, which is new to me as well, it's amazing. Air comes from the sky, so it cools and heats. They're separate units. One's a gas burner or furnace, and one is an air conditioning unit that cools down, but it keeps and maintains the perfect temperature all year round. Really hot summers, which we get here, 46 degrees Celsius, it's perfect in here. And when it's cold, it takes, how long would you say to warm up in here?
10 minutes maybe?
10 minutes at most to warm the whole house. This leads us on to how it works in the UK. Horribly, is what I would say. We have radiators, which firstly, to me, are an eyesore, and I know we've done a lot better job of the modern panel ones, but they're an eyesore, they're in the way. Feeding it through with water, a boiler heats the.
And quite often they break, and they break in winter. Temperature control, yeah, so that's interesting. So I think our houses are made of different materials as well. So correct me if I am wrong. I believe American houses are primarily made of timber. Now, over here, all of our houses are made of brick, red brick, mostly. And I suppose the mentality is because of our climate, it's more beneficial for us to have homes that maintain the heat and keep the heat in. For the few months of the year, there is actually a bit of heat. And so, with climate change being a very big thing recently, over the last few years, we have suffered quite horrendous heat waves at times. I mean, they don't last very long. It's Britain. We have very interchangeable weather at the best of times anyway. But when we get a heat wave, and when we say heat wave, we kind of mean anything above 27 degrees. I can't convert that to Fahrenheit, sorry. Celsius, 27 degrees Celsius. Anything above that, that's hot. For us, that is considered a heat wave. And I think normally in any other country where heat isn't infrequent, those temperatures aren't really that bad. You don't really need to complain an awful lot about 27 degrees Celsius. Over here, however, it's like living in a clay oven. Like you bake. I remember a few years ago, there was a heat wave, and I think the very air in our house, the thermostat said the air got to 37 degrees and it was 40 degrees outside. And the very air that you were breathing was hot, and there was just no way to cool down except to just lounge in a paddling pool outside, which the kids like. But that was hard. I'm not gonna lie, I cried. I didn't cry once. I cried twice, like proper breakdowns, like emotional breakdowns. Didn't deal very well with that heat. It was horrendous. So I think because our cities are so built up as well, there's a lot of concrete everywhere, a lot of tarmac everywhere, and I think it really absorbs the heat. So heat wave over here, even though it doesn't sound like it's going to be too hot, even if it gets like 30 degrees, doesn't sound too bad. But 30 degrees for like a few days feels very hot. And yet we go on holiday and we go to countries like Spain, and you get very similar temperatures, if not hotter. But the buildings are just so much better designed for the heat to escape. With everything's tiled, it's not the case over here. We very much bake inside our homes. And yes, radiators are naff. They are useless. They can break. We have issues with boilers, and they always happen over winter. When it comes to the beginning of autumn, when we all need the heating putting on because it's getting cold outside, that's when we realize the radiators needed bleeding and they're not going to work. And it's just an endless headache. Yeah, they're rubbish.
Water up and it comes out, and 2 hours later the house might be livable. I had no idea. I thought the radiator system was quite good until we got here. But trust me, heat from the sky is where it's at. I love it.
At number 9, we have gardens versus backyard. In the UK, gardens are like a national treasure for us. They're lush and green. Lots of British people are really into gardening, and sometimes they're disproportionately sized in comparison to the house. So you might have a small house, but then you might have this 100-foot garden with these large orchard trees, whereas here in the US we're not finding that is as normal, and I get it.
I think I think that maybe stems from when a lot of houses were built from maybe World War II kind of era, pre and post, I believe. I think a lot of people relied on their gardens to use as allotments. So a lot of like vegetables and fruit were grown in their own gardens. So I think that's why the garden plot tended to be a lot bigger than the space that you would use for the house, I think.
Whereas here in the US, we're not finding that is as normal. And I get it can depend where you are.
Yeah.
And I've had a few people say to me, why do you call it a backyard and not a garden? Because it's not a garden. There's nothing about our backyard that makes me think of a garden, but it's different. It's a more functional space to put a pool, have your barbecue set up, play games. So to me, it is a backyard that you just make into whatever you want it to be. Whereas in England, it truly is a garden.
Finally, number 10. We know this personally because we did put out a video that wasn't specifically about this, but we asked the question, and that is hardwood or hard surfaces versus carpet in your home. Now, I'm still torn. I'm quite traditional in the sense of I love carpet and it feels nice, makes the place feel warmer, more cozy. But I have come around to the practicalities of hard flooring. We use luxury vinyl plank, which is a high quality vinyl, but it mimics hardwood. And it's super easy to clean. You can wipe anything up, you can drop stuff on there, and
it looks good.
It does look really nice. Where I struggle a little bit is we put lots of rugs down in the soft areas.
Yeah.
So we turn hardwood into carpet, just in little spaces, which I think indicates that carpet is the way to go for me.
I know lots of people are going to say, no, carpet.
No, sorry. I'm quite anti-carpet. After having 2 cats and a dog, no, they make it really smelly. They make it covered in hair. I think there is one part of the house that I would say 100%. Actually, no, not 100%, not all the time. But in my house, it's the stairs. And that is for a few reasons. And it's because it dulls the noise of people coming up and down the stairs significantly. It really is, like that little cushioning under the feet. It stops the racket and the noise from echoing all around the house. And it stops you from slipping. That is the other main reason. I mean, there's probably staircases and wooden stairs that are designed to eliminate this problem, but I always thought, I don't want hardwood stairs because I'm going to slide. So carpet seems to be, a little bit of a no-brainer there for me. Although wooden staircases look gorgeous. So no, sorry. Carpet might feel a little bit warm, but it gets too messy.
It's awful, it's unhygienic. I think the thing that gets me about American homes, and it was one of the things when we was looking at rentals, was they would have hardwood everywhere, even in the bedrooms. And for me, I do like a bedroom to be cozy with carpet, but a bit like Ant, I've come around, so I get it. I do understand how much more practical hardwood is. It's just, it loses the cozy feeling of a UK home.
There you have it. 10 things that make US and UK homes different. At the beginning of the video, we did mention that we had some questions for you. So for those who have stuck around, thank you. You're getting our viewer attention up. And here are the questions. Question 1. For those of you in the UK, have you or do you currently experience the parking problems? And if you do, how do you deal with it? In particular, those where they have shared parking spaces and you might get into disputes with your neighbours.
Question number 2.
Just quickly, no, I would not. I would not be happy with the agreement of shared parking spaces. You might have lovely neighbours for the time being, but they might sell. You don't know what's going to happen. And then you don't know who you're going to be living next to in the future. Just sounds like a recipe for an argument with your neighbours. But even on the road parking, there's still some contention about it. There's always that. I don't know whether that's very British, but there is a fence when someone parks in front of your house, even when it's not in front of your drive and it's not a dropped curb. You still look out the blinds, don't you? And you're just like, parking right outside again. They shouldn't be doing that. That's ours. I don't know. Is that a British thing or is that just a me thing?
Spaces and you might get into disputes with your neighbours.
Question number 2. Which difference between UK and American homes surprised you the most and why?
And the final question, question 3, is which do you prefer? If you've experienced both or you look them up, I do this all the time. I go onto Zoopla and Zillow and you're looking at other houses or you've seen them on TV. Which homes do you prefer? And it might seem really obvious because somebody's gonna say, oh, I want the bigger home. But actually a lot of people like really cute, cozy homes. So which do you prefer? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.
Oh, let's get rid of that advert there, quick. Oh, that ad came on very quickly. Go away. I think I was most surprised by the mail scenario, the post. But like I said, I don't know how universal their postal situation actually is. Please feel free to comment. Let me know if there are many viewers in America here. Let us know. Is that totally wrong? Is it ludicrous? How dare they? That was the one that surprised me the most. A little bit surprised by how many bathrooms y'all have. Seems a little bit excessive. But then again, I see that from the point of view as, why would I want to clean 5 toilets? Like, cleaning 2's enough. It's 1 too many. It's gross. In fact, it's 2 too many. I don't want to clean 5. Functionality, it doesn't surprise me. I think it's very logical, actually. The more space you have, the more options there are for the usage of all the space that you have. That's fantastic. That is definitely one thing over here that I think a lot of British homeowners would definitely agree that we don't have the space to create the amount of rooms that we would like for different functions. Definitely. But then again, there's houses over here that have like a living room and then a sunroom and a snug. I think that's crazy. It's like they're the same thing. This is so lower class that I am. Yeah, it's always interesting to see how other people live in different nations, in different countries. It's definitely a space thing, and the availability of land, isn't it? That definitely plays into it. And unfortunately, over here, land is much more sought after because there's less of it. And there are still parts of the UK that aren't very inhabitable. Like, you've got the Highlands in Scotland, you've got a lot of mountainous regions in Wales. But then again, saying that, there's a lot of farms in Wales and they do have an awful lot of land attached. So, swings and roundabouts. Anyway, that was interesting. Okay. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. It's weird to do a non-music video. I don't really know how to close this, but thank you for watching my reaction, guys. Yeah, drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. If you've enjoyed watching my reaction today, please like and subscribe. It's hugely beneficial to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.